All right, it's the very next day. Remember I said nitric acid, it turns kind of amberish when it's out in the sun, and I showed you my other jug that was out? Well, this is a new jug, and this was in my closet in a dark, cool area, and you can see how nice and clear it is. You leave it out here for just a few minutes and it's already going to start to turn amber. So I just wanted to show you that really quickly. I'm going to fill this Region bottle up with another 500 milliliters of nitric acid, but I just want to show you the difference between leaving it in the dark versus the sun. So we're going to add another 400 milliliters of distilled water from where we picked up yesterday. And then we're going to add another 30-40 milliliters of nitric. You can start adding the nitric in a little bit quicker though, as base metals are as the base metals start to dissolve, there's not as much of a reaction, so you can start adding nitric just a little bit quicker than you used to. So let me just rinse out my funnel first. I turn the heat on, medium low like I normally do, and I'm gonna add around 30 to 40 milliliters of nitric. Put the plate on. So we should be almost there. I'm gonna say this is probably gonna take around another total of maybe 200 milliliters of nitric, and that'll put us at right around 1200 milliliters total. And I figured 1300, so we'll see. We'll keep on cooking and we'll see where we're at, but it does take a decent amount. So I didn't show you guys adding all the nitric throughout this entire process because you'd be watching hours of me doing it. So I time-lapsed a few quick little sections. All right, the reaction's pretty much stopped. I added more nitric and there's really no fumes coming off anymore, so I'm gonna assume the base metals are all dissolved. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna decant a little bit of that fluid, and then I'm gonna filter it in this filter, and then we're gonna incinerate the gold foils. As you can see, I'm starting to filter out the foils, which I decanted majority of the fluid to make it easier, but there's some small gold particles in here. Once we get all the foils in the filter, we're gonna rinse it out with distilled water, and then we're gonna incinerate the foils. And remember, all this extra fluid goes in my silver processing bucket. So all the fluid that comes out, I'm gonna put in my silver processing bucket. This is gonna take a little bit of time. I'll be back when we're all filtered out. Now, if you wonder why I'm adding it so often and keeping the funnel almost full at all times, it's because I noticed the fuller the funnel, the faster it filters out. So I'm really keeping on top of it to get this tedious process out of the way as fast as possible. I wanted to show you some of these foils while we were filtering it. And man, this is going to be a really good batch. This is definitely going to be my absolute best batch. I bought these gold-filled pocket watches off eBay. I'll have to look at the auction to see how much I paid. They were a considerable amount of money. I think I paid around $650, $700. I bought them specifically for this video, but there's a lot of nice gold foils in here. Filtering it really takes a long time, so I'll be back when I'm finished filtering everything. So it ended up being a lot of material. I'm gonna cook it in my little oven instead of using the torch, so this way nothing blows away. I'm cooking it for, I'm gonna cook it at about 1100 degrees or so for about an hour, maybe a little bit less, maybe about 1000 for an hour. All right, we incinerated the foils. They came out real nice. They cleaned up real good. Now we're gonna add them to our large beaker. One of them seems to have stuck to the bottom of my dish, so let me scrape that off a little bit. All right. Okay. Now we're gonna mix up some Aqua Regia, which is hydrochloric acid and a little bit of nitric. So I'm gonna add about 150, 200 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. Say right around 200, that should be good. And then I am gonna add this. Let me take off my heat glove. I'm gonna add just a little bit, probably about 20 milliliters to get started. We're gonna turn on the heat, medium low, get our little watch glass, put our watch glass in front of it. Let me readjust the camera. Get a little bit of a better angle. And I will time lapse this for a little bit. You should be able to see it start to dissolve. The gold foils are still dissolving. It's taking quite a while since it's such a large batch. I just wanted to show you. These are the filter papers that I use. I use size 1 filters. A lot of people use coffee filters also, but these work pretty good. And the nice thing about these, the great thing about these, I know it's kind of lazy, is they're already pre-folded. So instead of getting the ones that are round, these are already folded. And what I do is I put them like this, and then all I do is I open up one side just like that, and then this is what I actually put in here. So I put it just like this. I'm sure you guys already know how to do this, but in case some of you that are watching this don't, just like that. And then I wet the filter to make sure it has a nice fit, and so it doesn't go anywhere. And they're great filters. I actually wish I got a little bit larger ones though. I do have larger funnels, but I don't have larger filter papers. So I'm gonna let this continue to cook. You see all the gold foils, every once in a while they're getting stuck up there. So what I do is I take my rinse bottle, I rinse off the watch glass, and then I rinse the sides down to get it back into the hot solution to get it continue to eat away. Also, what I'm gonna do is I add a few drops of, let me find it first. I showed this in previous videos, and I got this from Street Tips. I add a few drops of sulfuric acid, and that'll help get rid of any lead in the solution. It'll cause it to drop out. And you're constantly gonna have to really keep getting this down on the sides. I'm gonna keep cooking this for probably another half hour, and then I'm gonna start filtering our gold solution in this flask. And this is gonna be a good amount. So as I got near the end of filtering, there is this in the bottom of the beaker. I do not think it's gold. There's a little bit of sludge, and I don't know what that is. It looks like some type of base metal that maybe wasn't removed. This isn't very scientific, but just in case there's a little bit of gold, I actually am gonna put this, mix it up really good. I'm gonna put this back on the burner, rinse down the sides. I'm gonna add about 50 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. And about 10 to 20 milliliters of nitric. I wasn't getting much of a reaction before, but I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit, and I'll see if there is any gold in that. Either way, no matter what, it's gonna be filtered, so even if it is base metals or impurities, it's gonna get taken out by the filter. And I'm gonna do this solution twice, actually. We're gonna refine the solution twice. So once this is done filtering, we're gonna precipitate the gold with the SMB. I'm gonna let that settle out. I'm probably gonna call it a day today, and then tomorrow will be the final video where we're gonna take that gold mud and we're gonna re-refine it in Aqua Regia to get out any additional impurities out of it. But that's where we're at. It's a little bit more work because it's a little bit more material, but we should get a nice yield. So thank you for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next video.